Okay, hello everybody. So today we're going to move on to, now that we've practiced with our coffee mark making, we are going to actually create a painting with coffee. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start, you don't have to create a forest, but if you would like to create a forest, this is how you're going to do it. I'm going to show you. So you're going to start with a pencil and a paper. So no matter what you create, you're going to start with a pencil and a paper here, okay? Now I'm going to make it so my pencil actually shows through intentionally. Now, some artists don't like pencil lines showing through, but I'm just going to kind of break that rule a little bit, and I want my pencil lines to show through. I want it to be a little bit more abstract. So, to draw some trees, guys and girls, all you really need to do is think as they go up, they get thinner. So, I start out with the base, and I'm going to kind of come up, okay? So, I'm just going to take this, and it's kind of just going to fade. I'm not going to have it like go all the way to the top because it's going to be very abstract. So it's just going to split right there. And then I'm going to just kind of let those lines trail off. So you can see I didn't even go all the way to the top. Okay. Maybe I want like a tree kind of behind here. Kind of let that one fade up. This one go that way. I'm just kind of putting some lines in different places to see how those look. So I'm going to do one here. Let's see. Make it a little bit crooked, kind of like spooky. I'm thinking kind of like a spooky, kind of trees here. Let's see how we do these. Maybe I'll have a smaller one from over here. So what I kind of want to do is change the horizon line a little bit. So I do always draw pretty light and kind of sketchy until I get my lines where I want them. Because look, I can easily erase them and they're not going to show. If I draw really dark and harsh, then those lines are going to show when I erase, and I don't want that. So just erase this out. Okay, so I'm going to just bring this tree, maybe this tree will get a little crooked going this way, okay? So just kind of have some fun with it. I'm just kind of keeping these kind of abstracted on purpose. I feel like a lot of times artists or people who don't identify as artists yet get really stressed out because they think, well, I can't draw. But it doesn't have to look like a photograph. Honestly, a lot of art, if all the art in the world looked like a photograph, this world would be really boring. But thankfully, there are so many wonderful artists out there who create art that represent something beyond what a photograph can capture. It captures a feeling and emotion. So don't feel like everything you do has to be perfect or everything you do has to look like somebody else's or mine or a photograph. Just relax and have fun. I found that art can be really freeing and one of the most relaxing things if you just let yourself create without the pressure of perfection. So now I'm just going to put some lines in the background just for fun. Okay. So now let's try this coffee and see what happens. Okay. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush. If you do not have a paintbrush, you could really use any paintbrush, but if you don't have one at all, use what you can. Use your fingers. Use a paper towel and see what happens. Use a spoon. Use something. See what you can get out of it without a paintbrush if you don't have one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this dark coffee, and I'm going to start with what's called the negative space. So the negative space is where my trees are not. So I'm going to kind of just put a wash. This is called a wash of color, or a wash of coffee in this case. So, at least I think I'm funny. You guys might not, but I think that my cheesy jokes are a little bit entertaining. So, anyway, I'm painting the negative space. So, that's the space around the trees, okay? Come in here, around. And then I'm just going to kind of like squiggle it off. I'm just going to kind of like do little squiggly marks and paint it off like so. Come around this side. Okay. Sometimes when I want to be a little looser, I hold my hand back further on the brush. And if I want to get real detailed, I'll hold it up here on the brush. So if you kind of just want to ever loosen up, sometimes I'll just paint more with my arm instead of like my fingers. Finger painting is like really detailed. Whereas when I want to loosen up, I just kind of like get that arm going, back it up, and just kind of free yourself a little bit. So I'm just kind of tapping it around where I think I kind of want that darker color to be, okay? And then maybe I want to just have a little fun. I'm just going to, and the outside edges, just make it a little messy. Just have a little splattering going on just to make it, I don't know, more interesting, okay? So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in with a lighter shade. So I have got my lighter coffee over here. And what I'm going to do with this, yeah, that's really light. I'm going to do just a really, really light wash on those trees. Now you'll notice my coffee is not very dark. Like the dark layers in the back are not even that dark. And the reason, guys, is because I didn't use instant coffee. I used just regular coffee. I did not have any instant coffee on hand. So if you have instant coffee, somebody at home has it, a friend has it, it will work better. But if you don't have it, I'm just showing you that tea would work the same as this. Instant coffee would work the same. So just kind of work with what you have. This is just regular old coffee that I made. Okay, so this is kind of like a start a little bit. Let's just tap it a little bit, maybe around a little more like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a second to dry, and then I will come back with a second video if you want to add more to it. So this is kind of a very light first step painting, but there's other things that we can do with it. We could add another layer of dark coffee if you want in the background. If you have watercolor paints, let me show you what we can do if we have some watercolor paints, because then we can have a lot of fun. Okay, sorry, I didn't have them right there. So if you have some watercolor paint, what you can do, you can get really dark. You could go back in with some of that really dark brown, and you could just deepen those tones in the background, darken that up in some places. Or if you have instant coffee, you're going to get a very similar effect to what I'm getting right now. So this is a watercolor set, by the way. You may have one laying around your house. You may be able to go get one. If not, no worries. You do not need it. I'm just showing you a little bit extra you can do if you do have it on hand or you would like to continue to explore painting. Again, if you have instant coffee, you'll get more of an effect similar to this because instant coffee is going to be darker and more vibrant than your regular coffee machine coffee. Okay. Maybe I'll kind of do some stuff around the roots down here. Maybe I'll even try some black and see what happens. Yeah, just kind of deepen that up a little bit more. A little bit of black. Okay. So then, now I'll come back in with that dark coffee. And I'm going to just kind of go on top of those trees again. So I have got a value range here, and this is very abstract, but it's kind of like an abstract forest that I created. So I have got dark values. So values are just shades or tones. So this would be my darkest value in the painting. And my lightest value would actually be the white that's still showing through on the paper. But then I've got some mid ranges here. That light coffee is like a mid tone. So I've got lots of different values and shades here just to bring interest to it. So have fun with these paintings. Once you get done, think about going back in with some pen or with your pencil and just adding more to it. So I'll post a picture of this finished piece for you onto Google Classroom. But in the meantime, feel free to make this your own and have fun with it, you guys. But this is how you could create a painting out of coffee. Have fun.